What is poppin', y'all? It is Man Club Boy Bales, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly. Packers fall to the Lions for the second time this season. The Packers now drop to 9-4. Detroit with this win, Detroit has officially won the division, being 12-1, having the best record, probably technically the best record right now in the NFC. So obviously, we will not have a home game, unfortunately, in the playoffs. So right now, our focus is getting in the postseason. This was a game I think the Packers would definitely like to take back. But unfortunately, a lot happened in this game I really wish didn't happen. This was a game that Detroit did everything in their power to gamble on any opportunity that they could, and they got it. They did almost everything possible, but they took their chances, and Dan Campbell might have the biggest balls a man has ever seen, but my goodness, I mean, it's just unbelievable how good of a team this Lions team is. I get it. I understand. But the fact that the Packers were able to battle, they were trailing by 10 at halftime, but then they actually took the lead within the first 3 minutes of the second half with a turnover touchdown. That was huge. But the problem was our defense was no good the entirety of this game. A lot of it had to do with injuries. You already didn't have Edgerrin Cooper, who, based on what I saw from Detroit's screens and little passes, he would have been all over that. I mean, we needed Edgerrin Cooper. I mean, he is one of those guys that really can be a game changer in the defense, and I feel like, having him would definitely made a difference going forward. I'm not a big fan of this 4-3, this new offense, this defense that they're utilizing. It's not good. And then two, our freaking secondary. Oh my goodness. The injuries on the defense just kept piling up. They lost Lucas Van Ness to some thumb injury. They lost literally both Evan Williams and Javon Bullard and Keyshawn Nixon. All the injuries, literally people just kept getting injured and right in this game. And you sit there and wonder, what could the defense have done? We had no safeties. What else could we have done? So you ask me, I don't know. But I give them credit for trying to play their hearts out because they did everything humanly possible to try to win this game. It didn't fall through as Jake Bates did hit the game-winning field goal for Detroit. But what's crazy is, going for it on fourth down and inches, knowing very well you could have taken it down, took a timeout, and they still went for it and got the first down to get closer. That takes so much guts to do. And I guess Dan Campbell is literally the only human being in planet Earth that really has the guts to do something like that. Man, he is a coach that I think any single human being wants to be coached by that guy. That guy is the heart and soul of any, he is the heart. He is one of the best coaches in all football. I mean, it takes guts to win games. I mean, he does exactly that. Jordan Love didn't have the greatest game passing, but I get a lot of times he was pressured and barely could get plays off. They ran the ball a lot, which was nice. Jordan Love, 12 of 20, 206, and a touchdown. Was only sacked once by former Packers Zadarius Smith. Oh, of course. And 4 carries for 23 yards. Josh Jacobs, 18 carries, 66, and 3 touchdowns. That is his second 3-touchdown game of the season. Something that Jim Brown only did in getting a 3-touchdown game at home and on the road was something Jim Brown did. He's the only other player to do that, which is pretty crazy, but what a season Jacobs has actually had. And then Christian Watson led the day with 4 catches for 114 yards. Unfortunately, he committed the only turnover that the Packers committed that forced the Lions to get a field goal. He got a fumble after a big catch. Dontavian Wicks had 4 catches for 49 yards. Tucker Kraft 3 for 41 and a touchdown, and just a catch for 2 for Ben Simmons. On the defensive side, Isaiah McDuffie I guess he can make tackles. 15 tackles for him. Quay Walker and Keyshawn Nixon both had 10 tackles each. Kenny Clark had 8 and a tackle for loss. Colby Wooden had a tackle for loss. Rashawn Gary with the only sack of the day for the Green Bay. And Keyshawn Nixon also had an interception on the day as well. Brandon McManus only had 1 field goal today where he was 1 of 1 and 4 of 4 from extra points. And Daniel Whelan only punted 3 times. On the Detroit side, Jared Goff went 32 of 41, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, was sacked once, and 4 carries for 7 yards. David Montgomery had 14 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown and 5 catches for 33. Jahmyr Gibbs had 15 carries for 43 yards and 6 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. Jameson Williams led the day receiving 5 catches, 80 yards. Sam Laporta, 5 catches, 54. Tim Patrick, 6 catches for 43 and 2 of the touchdowns. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, 5 catches for 43. And that's that. And then on the defensive side, Jack Campbell led the way with 8 tackles. And as I said, Zadarius Smith did get the only sack. And Jake Bates went 2 of 2 from field goals. So that's the statistics of the game. As much as I would have liked to win this one, I think deep down we can beat this team. I know we're capable of it, and I'm sticking with my prediction that if we face this team in the postseason, we will beat them. I'm very confident that we can. But most importantly, I will be confident going forward. I think this is a loss that everyone would like to take back. But it's going to be brutal knowing that a lot of people got injured in this game. Hopefully they're okay. I mean, I think I heard that Javon Bullard was actually on crutches. I'm hoping it's nothing too severe. It's just a minor sprain that would only keep him out a week or 2. But 4 more games left. 4 more games left until the regular season is over. Most importantly, I think just trying to get into the playoffs, I think, is really the most important part. Now that we know the division, Detroit has officially won the division. It's going to be it's going to be home fielded, obviously, trying to get a better seed, I think, in the playoffs. 5 or 6 seed is better than a 7 seed, but I think it's more important getting these opportunities. I'd love to face Detroit again. It would be great. But yet again, just can't win every game. It's far as it is. And yes, you know what? I was told not to say this because I'm just going to sound salty. But I said this the last time, against the Buccaneers in the playoff, the NFC Championship game in 2020. I said that officiating was biased, and I got heated for it. Again, I'm just going to say it. I think the officiating tonight was completely biased. As much as I don't want to say that, and I'm going to probably take heat for saying it, there were so many calls that went against the Packers, and so many times there should have been calls on the Lions. There just was that way the whole game. I wish that wasn't the case, but I give credit that the Packers actually played their hearts out and managed to almost beat this team. And I think that going on, I think that they can really give themselves some momentum going forward. I think it'll be interesting to see how they finish, but I feel like it's going to be a close race to see if we can make the playoffs or not. I think they got to really put themselves in a good position because this isn't an easy schedule to finish out the season. Next week, we face the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, a place that is really hard to win on the road. Seattle is not that good, but they are currently first place in the division right now because I guess their division is, the 49ers are a joke, and that whole division is just murdering itself right now. It'll be a close game for sure, anytime you can't say that. Then at home against the Saints, a team that has a phenomenal defense. And somehow Alvin Kamara is still playing good. Then you've got to go into Minnesota. Likely we won't face them in the postseason. I don't think that's going to be the case because they're probably going to get a 5 or 6, and then we'll be the 6th seed. But a good game that could really test us, I think. Very important, very smart. And then at home against the Chicago Bears. Normally I'd say, oh, we at home against the Chicago Bears, that'd be great. But again, they outplayed us, and just because we beat them, they outplayed us. Don't count out Chicago. They have been looking really good as of recently. So, and they're likely going to be eliminated by this point. But don't count out Chicago to come out there and actually show up, and really put a hard game on the Packers. This isn't easy. The Packers need to win at least, let's go at least 3. Let's try to at least win half these games. If they finish the season 11-6, I think that hopefully should be good enough to make the postseason. Hopefully. Now, I don't know how things will turn out in 4 weeks, and I hope none of this is true, but we lose one game, let's move on and try to move on and hope that for the best. That's all I can say. Injuries and penalties suck, but you know what? Everything can be cleaned up, and hopefully the players can heal up. So, well, anyways, if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, we'll see you next time. Go Pack Go.